XFM News. On point.
The news on XFM. I'm Chris or Tim. The ruling party, the National Resistance Movement, has vowed to expel members who defied the party rules and were nominated as independents to contest in the general elections. Last week, many of the NRM members were nominated alongside the party flag bearers, despite having participated and lost in the party primaries. The party's Secretary General, Kasule Lumumba, says a committee has been appointed to meet the independent candidates starting next week before taking disciplinary action.
I've seen ministers being nominated as independents, chairpersons of NRM of districts being nominated as independents. In the code of conduct for the NRM party, you are supposed to support party decision. And if you go against the party decision in this case, it is supporting the flag bearer, the person who the majority voted. So in case you go against that, you've gone against the party decision. And you are supposed to be expelled from the party. But it's supposed to be a process.
Meanwhile, the NRM has received a certificate from the Electoral Commission confirming the fulfillment requirements for the party's presidential flag bearer, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to be nominated. Lumumba says their candidate will be nominated on the 2nd of November at 10 a.m.
We received the certificate of having fulfilled the requirement for somebody to be nominated for the presidential race. So we have the certificate. So we are set as a party NRM for this on the 2nd of November to present our presidential candidate, Yoweri Kaguta T. Museveni. So as
Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, also referred to as CESBAG, has challenged the central bank to institute an independent tribunal to handle disputes between commercial banks and their clients. This demand follows a case in which the city businessman Hamis Chigundu sued DTB Bank, accusing it of fraudulently taking up to 120 billion Uganda shillings from his account without his consent. Julius Mukunda, the executive director CESBAG, says cases of this nature are rampant, where many people either lost their money or property to banks in unscrupulous manners.
Coming out to say that you are not supervising part of the money supply chain in this country, and yet you are the sole institution in our constitution to manage our monetary policy, we find that we have been disappointed and let down by this particular institution. On the point that because there is no law and regulation, because the law and regulation starts with you if it's not there. And as such, I think it's quite important that we strengthen the role of Bank of Uganda to ensure that these uncooperative financial institutions are brought to book.
The Uganda Christian University, UCU, is set to conduct online guild elections under the codename Ichagua, where students shall vote from their homes. According to Bridget Mugume, the Director of Students Affairs, as the DOSA, the exercise starts today with nominations, followed by online campaigns as a measure to control the spread of coronavirus during the elections. She says the system will relieve them of the expenses they always incur in normal elections, adding that all students will be able to vote online using their email accounts at no cost.
Because of COVID, we do not have students on campus, but that itself cannot allow us call back students to come and choose their leaders. So that is why the institution came up with this new innovation of allowing students to elect their leaders through e-voting. The program is well set. We rolled out the electoral process, and students have started surely picking interest. For those who want to contest, they have picked interest.
The chairperson of the Guild Electoral Commission, John Bruce, has assured students that these elections will be free and fair, since all measures have been taken to ensure that hackers can't access the voting.
We can assure our beloved students that we shall do our best to make sure that there is a free and fair election. There will be transition of power from one group of wonderful students to another group, and the Guild is there to always strike a good deal for the students. This Monday, we are starting with a receiving of nomination of application forms. Now, these application forms are on our website. When the student logs in, they find the nomination form there, fill in their details, pay the nomination fee, and we send them a link. That link is for students who will nominate that candidate. Then after the applications, of course, we shall do the vetting for members of parliament. Then we shall have a joint selection board vetting for the presidential candidates.
On to world news, China's economy continues its recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to its latest official figures, the world's second biggest economy saw growth of 4.9% between July and September compared to the same quarter last year. However, the figure is lower than the 5.2% expected by economists. China is now leading the charge for a global recovery based on its latest gross domestic product GDP data. The near 5% growth is a far cry from this slump the Chinese economy suffered at the start of 2020 when the pandemic first emerged. Now in sports news, Tottenham players will be absolutely fuming with themselves after their late collapse meant they only drew with West Ham 3-3 on Sunday. There had been so many positives from the way they had built up a 3-0 lead, with Harry Kane again playing a starring role. But all the good work was wasted when they could not see the game out. Yes, Spurs will feel hard done by because the free kick that led to Manuel Lanzini's brilliant 94th minute equalizer should not have been given. But ultimately, if you are 3-0 up in any game with under 10 minutes to go and you don't win, you only have yourselves to blame. And that's the latest XFM News.
XFM News on point.